Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we are going into Instacart. One of the things I preach consistently on this channel is that you should be diversifying your income and your gig portfolio. And I stand by this point very strongly. You never want to leave your financial stability in the hands of any one source of income. One of the apps that people think about starting is Instacart. In this video, I'm going to give you my overall review of Instacart as an app. This is going to be based on my personal experience since I started in August of last year. We're going to be talking about my interactions with the app and other opinions on the subject of Instacart. Again, this is 6 months of surface level experience, so keep that in mind. So with that said, let's start with a disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain and is never intended to be legal advice, business advice, financial advice, or tax advice of any kind. I am a YouTuber, and this video is for entertainment purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult with qualified professionals before you apply anything you find online. So with that said, let's start with Instacart requirements. So in order to sign up for Instacart, it's actually very similar to that of DoorDash. You need to be 18 years old, have consistent access to a vehicle, not necessarily the vehicle itself, and you need to be eligible to work in the United States. However, there are two other requirements that happen to be involved in this. You need consistent access to and to be able to effectively use a recent smartphone. You need the ability to lift 50 pounds with or without accommodation. What I find interesting is, number one, they're saying eligible to work in the United States, not eligible to drive in the United States. Eligible to work in the United States. Number two, the last two requirements make sense, but I was surprised to see it as a requirement for sign. It's almost as if they were expecting older generations and people who are not from this country to sign up for Instacart. The Instacart online screen. Once you get hopped on, signed on, off the wait list and through it, you are presented with the Instacart online screen. You go online, and right off the bat, it is completely different from DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub combined. As opposed to them sending you an order and you taking your time to make an educated decision on whether or not the order is worth taking, they put the order in some kind of tray, and basically it's first come, first serve. You're not accepting an order. You're trying to claim an order before other people can. This goes against the mindset that drivers should have, since they are supposed to be making educated decisions on how much damage they want to put on their car or how much time it's going to take to complete the order and things of that effect. They don't have time to analyze the order properly. You got to go through so many data points, and by the time you get through two, somebody already took it. And if they didn't, the order was probably garbage. In fact, there's kind of been an ongoing battle between Instacart and bots that have been going into Instacart. Yeah, there is a bot problem that is within the Instacart program where they actually can accept batches before some people even have the chance to see them. But anyway, there are two types of orders: full service and shop only. Full service, you shop for all the items. You contact the customer if there needs to be a replacement and all that good stuff. You go through the line, check out, and then you deliver the groceries. Pretty straightforward. But then there's shop only. You do the same thing, except instead of you leaving the store and delivering it to the customer, you leave it in the store on a shelf. These are nice because there's no actual driving involved other than you actually getting to the store, but there's no tip that comes with shop only orders, and to me that's a little ridiculous. Now, I do also want to be clear that there's also batched orders on both subjects where you can actually end up getting 3 or more of the same place, getting the same type of order, full service or shop only, the same overall base pay as if it's only one, and the tips are bunched up together. That being said, the payouts are pretty good when you do a full service order. I think the lowest I've seen is $7, which is solid for full service anyways. Depending on the customer, some tips were solid as well, as you know. The downside to this is hard though. Tip bait. Yeah, there's tip baiting in Instacart. You thought Uber Eats was bad with tip baiting? Try shopping for everything, picking out item after item, replacing items, going through the line, getting it back to your car, delivering the order, and then get tip baited. That is easily the most frustrating feeling because you wasted more time, more effort, more energy on what? Every now and then they have promos like guaranteed 60 for X number of batches or $5 plus a batch and other nice opportunities, but honestly, I get orders so infrequently on Instacart that I can't really catch any good promos. Now, the shopping experience is literally the same as shopping for yourself, except now you have a shopping list of items on your phone for what you need to get the customer. It even has aisle numbers, so you can actually go through the aisles and go directly to the item. Now, that's assuming that they haven't restructured the store at all. I don't know how many of you guys know this, but grocery stores tend to change where certain items are sometimes, depending on how they structure their store and the time of year. For example, Super Bowl Sunday, there were chips in a completely different section. The most active time of the year for most grocery stores is Passover. I was actually surprised to hear that. I thought it would be Thanksgiving, but no, it was Passover. Thanksgiving, on the other hand, is also a crazy time. Now, is it always going to be grocery store orders? No, you can actually end up going to places like Target or Best Buy and actually deliver electronics too. You can end up in liquor stores and end up delivering alcohol. I don't think they do cigarettes, but I wouldn't put it past them. They do a lot of pharmacy orders and convenience store orders, but honestly, I don't like going into pharmacies for shop orders because there's no system within any of these stores. Like, for some reason, you would find a lot of electronics that you would need in the baby aisle or vice versa, or there's just no overall system across the board for any CVS or Walgreens or whatever. I like convenience store orders. I like alcohol orders. Those are my personal favorites, but those aren't the most profitable. Those are just the easiest to complete. Anyway, once you're done, you let them know that at the register that's an Instacart order, and if it's a shop only, you put it in paper bags, leave it on the shelf. If not, you put it in plastic bags and you deliver it to wherever. Now, my strategy, I understand, is not the most profitable, but my strategy was supposed to be intertwined with food delivery apps. I usually go for limited shopping orders due to the item count and limited store size. Like, I'm not going through a huge store like Target, Walmart, Best Buy, or even a grocery store in most cases. I'm going for smaller stores with limited space, such as a convenience store or a small liquor store. I pick up whatever items, I check out, and I leave. It allows a higher base pay for Instacart, so that way I have more of a guaranteed pay and less chance of getting tip baited. And even if I do, the tip's probably going to be like $5, $6, and I'm not going to cry too much about it. However, this also allows me to complete orders quickly so I can focus on other apps such as DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub, or focus on this YouTube channel. Yes, that is something I do take into consideration, is how much time I commit to each order and how much time it's taking away from other orders. Now, I understand that the most orders are in grocery orders, and I understand that. I prefer to spend that amount of time on this channel and with other apps. Just a personal opinion. Instacart Pros. The payouts are bigger per order, especially on base pay. Base pay is naturally higher, so that way you get a good tip for the size of the order, and sometimes that means you're rolling in it. Like, sometimes you can end up seeing $60 batches, and that's pretty awesome. Some people actually know that, and their goal is to just complete a certain number of batches a day, and they're done. Now, this is especially good if you're shopping in a store that you're completely familiar with. You can complete orders faster, you can get in and out, and tips will probably be pretty good in that area. Now, driving from the store to the customer is typically shorter. Another good thing is that the driving is going to be much shorter, even though the payouts are higher. There are exceptions, but I think the furthest I've driven to a customer was about 5 miles. And most on average are about 1 to 2 miles. Are there times where you'll see 7, 8, 9 miles? Yeah, but those are a part of the bad orders that no one wants. Bots really does make things easier. Although bots do go against the terms of service and Instacart is trying to do something, I don't think they're really doing anything to stop them at the moment. People use them all the time, and some people end up walking out with $2K a week. And I think it's crazy, but it does happen. I don't personally make that much. I make more with food delivery than grocery delivery, but people seem to be happy with this lifestyle. And who am I to condemn them for that? But speaking of condemning, let's talk about some cons for a second. If you don't use a bot, you're dead in the water. The amount of focus, reflexes, and just overall mental stability to claim an order is just insane sometimes. Most people hate Instacart for that fact alone. In fact, most entrepreneurs entrepreneurs hate this app because they would rather focus on building their business than waiting for an order. Like I said, the gig economy is an income bridge to what would be a long-term goal, and 50% of gig workers are entrepreneurs. Imagine an entrepreneur focusing on getting an order instead of building the next business that they want to build. You're building a scarcity mindset rather than an abundance mindset. The culture that this developed in the app makes you believe you don't have time to make a logical decision. And by the time you even figure out a couple data points, the order's gone. You're not trying to find the best order that makes the most sense for you. You're just trying to get an order. This is bad for someone who eventually wants to end up leaving the gig economy because now they've developed such a scarcity mindset that they're afraid to divert their attention even for a minute. The amount of time that is spent on a batch is completely dependent on how quickly you can get in and out of the store. It's not even just for finding the items. It's finding replacements. It's fighting through crowds. It's getting around that one old lady that moves slower than continental drift. I'm not even kidding. Sometimes old ladies really do just piss me off in the store and on the road. Finding parking in a smaller parking lot. Dealing with the cashier that's stuck on something and always needs to call the manager as soon as you're about to go up. Now, what about bagging the items before the cashier decides to start on the next order and mixes your items with the person behind you? Now you have to worry about mixing the items that are supposed to be for your customer, not even for the person in front or behind you. Seriously though, some people just don't have patience. Sometimes it takes over an hour to get it done. If you hit every single roadblock, it can be even longer. Now, it could take some practice to get in and out of the store, and I'm just slower at it. But again, I have other things that I want to focus on, being this channel. Let's talk about tip baiting for a second. You thought it was painful on Uber Eats? You're upset because you drove from a pizzeria to this customer and they tip baited you? While I understand where that comes from, how about shopping for everything, going through all of that, wasting an hour or more just to get tip baited? There have been times where I've seen on the internet where they would have a batch of 3 orders, full service, and all 3 people tip bait. That's disgusting. Now, honestly, this shouldn't be something that should be allowed on Instacart or Uber Eats. Now, what's my overall verdict? If you're the type of person who is only involved in the gig economy as a side hustle, and they're wondering if this is better than any of the other apps, honestly, it is a good option. Batch sizes are bigger, less overall driving, people are happy. It's a good option. Now, this is assuming that you're in a market where tip baiting's not that bad, but again, market dependent, just like everything else. If you're planning on doing this full time with a mix of other apps, I wouldn't make it a priority. I would just take truly opportune batches. And if you're doing as I teach on here and using it as an income bridge to what would be a longer term goal, again, only if it truly opportune batches. Don't put more focus on Instacart than your business. But anyway, that's all I got. I don't plan on doing a whole lot for Instacart. I would have made more of an in-depth thing for Instacart, but I don't know how to truly profit from it, so I don't feel comfortable talking as if you can. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.